All right, good morning. We're at Jefferson County Road Department weekly meeting, January 21st, 2025. So we'll get the meeting started. Go ahead, Bear. What you got going on?
Not a lot, so it's cold and white. No new complaints or issues that have been brought up over the last week, so that's refreshing.
That's good.
Either they're all okay or they're just tired of complaining, one of the two.
There you go.
Yep, nothing new on the record, so as far as the true updates go, plowing and sanding mostly. Even though we haven't been getting a lot of snow, it's still a lot of drifting and blowing and just monitoring our shaded and troubled areas. Takes a lot of time out of the day to go hit all those. In the downtime, a lot of equipment maintenance, shop maintenance going on right now, just kind of trying to stay busy, working on fixing signs and like roadwork signs. We're working on some of those here, cleaning up attachments to equipment and just lots of little housekeeping things. Lots of tree trimming, cutting down a lot of little trees and brush that are along the roadways that we can manage by hand when it's not 5 degrees outside. It's just a lot easier to deal with a 3-foot tree than it is a 40-foot tree. So trying to be proactive along those. We did get the snow hauled from the courthouse complex here last week. I'm going to talk with Pat, see if we can kind of change how he stacks that snow a little bit. Just some safety concerns with the snow being out on the intersection corners. We're watching traffic coming from 4 ways every time we're backing loaders and trucks around. We're going to see if we can get him to stack them in the middle of the block, just to make it a little easier and keep the snow away from the drains as well.
It's not my parking spot, please.
Right, it's probably not throwing it off for snow. I don't know that it's gonna be an issue again this year, looking at the long-term forecast, but
Not looking very
lots of little storms, but I don't know if we're gonna get any more big ones. As soon as I say that, we're gonna get a full snow, so,
get pounded.
which would be okay.
I could watch my car again.
Yeah, would you?
Okay.
I just watched the truck last week and it really didn't help.
Take your snow tires off, that would help.
Yeah.
Yeah. One place we are getting a lot of snow is up in Elkhorn, as I mentioned last week, so we sent a loader up there, I think it was last Thursday. Moved a bunch of snow from all the turnarounds and wherever we could, push it back to where we can get more snow snack through there, but we can get more. Ryan ran up there this morning and said they really didn't get much over the weekend from this storm, but
It just got cold up there.
yeah. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but the Skijoring people were asking about snow, and I mentioned, well, we got plenty up in Elkhorn, so we may take a look at the possibility of them hauling snow from somewhere up in that area, but I don't know if it'll happen or not. This is take all you want, we got plenty. Yeah, that's really all we got for the cruise. Nothing much going on, just a bunch of tree trimming and maintenance. You guys calling in sick or taking days off. We did switch a couple guys last week up in Montana City with the potential of snow Friday. They took, I think, Wednesday off and worked Friday. Ended up not having much snow. May look at doing that again this Friday. It looks like we might get another little storm coming in. So we'll see how that plays out. Just a couple updates. It was great being able to get out on that road tour with you guys last week and seeing some of those problem areas. Just we'll kind of have some more talks and discussions about how we want to proceed with some of those issues we have up there. Gruber being the big one. I don't know if you saw the one email I copied you guys in last week about Holmes Gulch, that upper portion. They were just asking about paving and improvements, kind of explained to them, but where that one's been kind of a hot topic, I wanted to keep you in the loop on any discussions with that one. Just a quick update on that Halford culvert. I talked with Great West last week. They're not real sure about the prospect of just repairing the culvert. We had looked at sleeving it. Said sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. They would lean more towards just replacing it or putting a bridge in there is really what it should have, and which we obviously don't have the funding for. I'm going to try and get with Steve Marks today to see about that reroute, to see if we can shut down through there. And then I've got to reach out to Megan Bullock to see if I can look at their new floodplain map they're working on in that area to see if we can go and come out on pipe if we need to switch that size. So Still in the works, lots of discussion. Right now, it's not a major issue. I just want to get something resolved, so when the weather breaks, we can get it taken care of. Other than that, it's been really quiet. I'm just trying to get some stuff going. Trying to
Keep
find
the
a
guys
place.
busy, huh?
That's it. It's too cold to really even, I don't want to send them out with chainsaws and cutting trees right now, as the ground's too froze to go do signs and delineators and nothing to plow and can't dig dirt and not a lot to do for them right now, but good and bad, we're finally getting some little projects that they've been avoiding taking care of in the
Mhm.
shops and stuff, so good time for that kind of work.
Yeah, all that little stuff, even cleaning the trucks and
Yeah,
doing a deep clean, get in the shop and
yeah,
give them a good going over.
pretty quiet though.
That's how we like it.
Yeah.
That's how we like it. A little snow would be nice, not that we want to put you guys too busy, but
Well, a little snow would be all right, as long as it snowed up high.
yeah.
It's not gonna be fun come summer if it doesn't,
Yeah,
but
Who knows?
Wouldn't be the
We
first
may
time.
get some wet rain, we might get wet spring, but it doesn't really help with the moisture because it all runs downhill, but
and melts the snow.
yeah. We don't get any snow, we don't get any grass to burn.
it's
true.
Just get all the spring rains and
That is true.
Yeah, so lots of stuff in the works, but nothing really close. And if we could get the ground to thaw a little bit, we could go work on McCarty Creek and some of these other lingering projects, but it's just too cold to do anything. The ground's, I'm amazed they're digging some of these, those duplexes up here on the other side of Boulder. I'm amazed they were able to get into that as hard as the ground is where we tried to dig.
Hmm.
I tried putting concrete stakes out there along our yard where we're gonna put that fence in, and it was everything I could do to get a concrete stake in 5 inches.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Frozen ground stopped the project at my house, so
Yeah.
Have you checked anything on the chip seal, or how chips are doing, or oil, or any of that stuff?
It's
Kinda-
gonna be probably another, what did he say? Closer to February, maybe middle of February before they have a good price on that, on the oil. Chips, we're still hovering around that $35 a ton, depending on if we haul them or we get them trucked in, depending on if that adds a few dollars a ton, but somewhere between that $30 to $40 range a ton.
Do we gotta bid those out, or is that just part of our?
I think for the dollar amount on the chips, we can just go through our bidders list. There's only one guy that's doing chips around here that we would be able to get them from, and that's Buster, but we'd still just call the other contractors. Oil we can buy through the state program, so we don't have to
Okay.
bid that. But they haven't even sent out requests for oil bids yet.
Gotcha, okay.
That's usually about this time we start seeing the emails for quantities. And then they get pricing first part of the summer. But talked to Ergon, and he said they give him a month or so to call him back, and he should have at least a rough idea of where they'll be. They kind of want to get through all the events of the last couple of days to see what oil prices are gonna do.
Okay.
is that a pretty average price for chips or is that up for?
Well, it's way up from a few years ago. When
I
I
figured
first
that, but-
started, it was about 17 a ton, it's more than doubled. But oil's the big problem. It went way up and it hasn't been coming back down at all. We went from 400-ish a ton to almost 900 a ton. So that's the big cost. Chips will probably be, just for Corbin. I can't even remember what it was. I had a number, but it wasn't much. I mean, 30,000 or something for chips, but the oil's gonna be substantial.
The big part of it, yeah. Is there anything else up north that we should be looking at chipping, just to keep it from falling apart? While we're looking at Corbin, or?
I mean, there's always, everything needs to be chip sealed. But it's just how much, I mean, that was kind of the whole conversation last summer is we don't have the money to do what we need to do.
Right.
Even on our normal cycle that we were on doing 12 miles a year, we weren't keeping up.
Okay.
So it's something that we're gonna have to readdress and find either other ways to cut money out or to get other funding because of just the sheer cost of it doesn't pencil out.
Mhm.
There's no way for us to be able to do the 5 to 7 year cycle and do all the rest of the work we're doing. you know, maybe there are some roads that might be candidates to turn back to gravel that are better options than what we've done. Some of those need to stay chip seal just because of the amount of traffic, like, you know, McClellan Creek and Jackson, some of those, there's no way we can turn them to gravel.
Right.
McClellan, as you guys noticed last week, is getting pretty rough. That's one that I think would be a good candidate for us to go in and remill it and relay it and, you know, do something like the dust pods to stabilize that base and then re-chip seal over the top. But we'd want to make sure we coordinated to be able to do all at one time instead of letting it sit for a year.
Right.
Otherwise, there's no fixing that, all the rutting and everything, because it's just chip seal over gravel. There's no way to fix that and make it smooth without tearing it out.
Right.
But, you know, we could look at doing some of these smaller roads that haven't been done for a while. If we're gonna be doing chip seal, we might be able to get one or two of them in on top of it. You know, what's the one up there past McClellan? Big Dipper.
Yeah.
They wanted us, that's a R&D. That one should
Yeah.
probably be done in the next, preferably this year. It's been a while since it's been done. It's held up really well because it's such low traffic, but there is starting to get a couple of cracks. So before it gets too
And
bad.
that's an RMD. Do they, so under an RMD, that money comes out of there, right?
Portion of it.
We do
Just
the
a portion
labor,
of
they do the supplies or
Okay, that was my question is,
So the way
you
that,
guys don't get paid out of the RMD, that's,
so most of the R&Ds, or a few of them are a split. So the county covers equipment and labor, and the subdivision covers the material cost. But that material cost is usually more than what some of these R&Ds can afford.
I'm just asking because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
I got charged for a lot of it, but I didn't know how it all worked.
yeah, and it's something that's been a hot topic of discussion for a few years now, because we're looking at changing some of the R&Ds, I believe, and
Mhm.
figuring out that process, so. Yeah,
Yep.
so I'll look at some roads and see what we think and come up with a better number for Corbin, and then say, hey, these are kind of the hot ones that we should probably get to, and we'll look at where the funding is as it gets closer and see how much of it we can do. But
When we're doing Corbin, I would add in just that little section of Spring Street too, just to get it back to good. It's a,
yeah, and that one hasn't been good for 10 years. But
right. I don't know what that dust pods did, but boy, it made dust. It just turned everything to dust, where even where it was a dirt road before, we didn't have that much dust.
Well, that road was it was a chip seal road, but it
Right.
was so broken up, and there was so much sediment washed down from up above, there was half dirt over top of bad asphalt and chips. And I think it's just that granulated granite. Decomposed granite,
Yeah.
it's just not wanting to bind with it very well, and so you get a lot of dust particles, and it crushes it up into small particles as they're driving on it, and
Yeah.
I think that's where that dust is coming from.
Yeah, so I would add that into our
Yeah.
mileage for the chip seal for sure, and then any road that looks like, I mean, we're gonna lose it if we don't get some chips on it. You know, even little sections or whatever, while you guys are doing Corbin, I think that would be good. Since we're gonna be up there, we're gonna have everything kind of ready to roll. We'll still have to find money somewhere, but
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
I would be looking at that anyway. I think it's gonna be more cost effective to try to do it all at the same time versus try to do a little bit, do Corbin and do a little bit in the fall, or, you know, bounce around and get it all done. You guys usually
Yeah.
do like a week at a time or something.
Or at
We
least
used to
pick
do a
some that-
week, and
Like you said,
yeah, the one thing with us that's a nice benefit is we can jump around as long as it's not changing the cost of the oil. You know, if we have a stretch that only needs, you know, say we need to go do a mile somewhere, a truck and or a distributor and a super tanker, you know, that's not a big deal for them to send out, and our stuff is ready to go.
Pretty
So
easy
it's-
to move
as long as
around.
we have the material scheduled, it doesn't matter to us.
Okay,
Yeah, that's one
Right.
luxury we have versus using a contractor, is that
Mhm.
we can kind of do it when and where we need to.
not paying that mobilization
Yeah,
cost, that's pretty big in projects you're,
yeah, that's usually a big chunk.
you know.
You know, usually with the distributors, they don't charge any kind of special mobilization, cause I gotta drive there anyways.
Right. We
So-
may, another thing we may look at is a traffic counter, if we don't have one, I don't know what they cost, if
Yeah.
they're $500 or $10 million, I have no idea, but. It would be nice to know, like, the traffic on that culvert that we're gonna try to
Right.
replace,
Yeah.
is there 20 cars a day, or is there 150 cars a day coming in and out of there? And then also I'd like to know about Corbin, you know, if we stop at Corbin with the chip seal, are we missing a bunch of traffic from the mine entrance down where it used to be? You know,
Right.
this questions like that, I think a traffic counter would be pretty darn valuable. I don't know if you wanna talk to Rory and see if he might have an idea.
I wrote it down here already to ask him again. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it to him once and he wasn't sure, but I'll ask him again. And I do know that a couple of years ago, we did a bunch of housekeeping up in Montana City because they had a bunch of just junk everywhere. And a lot of that's still sitting on a pallet down in our storage down here, so I'll go through that again, but I don't remember seeing anything. I don't remember seeing the cables or a box and. But we'll go through and I'll talk to a couple guys that have been around for a while and just see if they have any clue. I mean, for all we know, it's buried underneath the gravel on a road somewhere.
Seems that in my memory, the last time we had a traffic count of any sort was Heidi Way,
Yeah, but that's the
I don't know if
last
that
one
was
I
our-
remember seeing
our equipment. Or-
was reading through the commissioner notes from those meetings. Roy had got a traffic counter and they used it up there to get a count. And then that was the last time I remember seeing anything as far as a discussion in a commission meeting about our own traffic counter. And that was in 2015, I want to say,
Yeah, it was pretty. When I was a new commissioner about that.
15, 16. But we'll talk to them and I'll look into it and see what we can find. See if there's something we can get for an affordable price.
Can't imagine they're very expensive, but I
Yeah,
can,
well.
everything's expensive.
If,
these days.
if they are, would you be able to like rent one and then look at getting one down the road or
Yeah, I'll look for
borrow one
options.
from the state?
Yeah.
I
Something
can
just,
even ask another county.
if
see
we don't
they've
have it.
got one. I don't know who else.
Probably every county's got them, I bet.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah. I
They're
think
probably
only
same
your
place
bigger
ours
ones.
is.
Yeah, I would imagine counties like, Lewis and Clark, Yellowstone, Gallatin, they've probably got them, but I would imagine anything similar to us probably doesn't have one. I think they just probably have the state do a traffic study for them. I will look into options.
Okay.
And then I did get a text from Dylan. I gotta run up and look at it. He says that Spring Creek is freezing up again.
On the side of the road.
Yeah.
Oh, after we fixed it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go see why that's doing that. I don't know if something else fell in there, which I really doubt, or if it's just cold enough that it's just slowed down and backed up, but
Ice jams probably.
yeah, I have a hard time believing that it's as good as that was running and as much room as we made. I'd imagine, you'd think it would have to run down along the creek bed even if it was froze up, but I'm gonna run up there.
Beavers in there.
I hadn't seen any evidence of them. None of the down timber had any evidence of beaver. We saw, there was an otter or a muskrat. Yeah, a muskrat come swimming by while we were working there, but no
Hmm.
beavers.
That's interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you find
Yeah,
out there.
so I'm gonna run, I gotta run over and talk to Pat, and I'm gonna run up and check on that and see what's going on before it becomes a problem. I might have to take the machine back up and just break some ice up or something, but. And again, it's supposed to be 30 degrees today and for the rest of the week, so. Who knows?
Yeah, that'll help if it is ice. Good.
Okay.
When's the road convention, what's that called?
Mackers is the
March.
24th, 5th and 6th of March.
Oh, it's out of the way.
And
Yeah,
I marked that on my calendar, so
Yeah.
I'll just plan on going the whole time and
yeah, and from the sounds of it. I gotta look at my roster again of my guys, but I think originally I thought myself and Easton and Ryan would all get our roadmasters that week. I don't think that Ryan's gonna make it happen because he's gotta watch a bunch of webinars to get a few optionals done. And it does, the roadmaster doesn't play into that operator tech level program we created. It's just the road scholar that does. And so it's just an added bonus to them to want to do it. But I'm pretty sure Houston will get it done. I've got to watch one more 30-minute webinar and I'll have mine done. Shaylee is got a few webinars to watch and she'll potentially have her road scholar done. So she may come up, I think the plan for her was to just come up Wednesday afternoon. Cause there was a couple of sessions that day that she was interested in. And then stay for the banquet to get her certificate and coat that night. But I've got 3 rooms reserved, and at the most, there's gonna be 2 or 3 of us from my department going, so.
Okay.
I'm not taking guys up until they get closer to needing to go, unless there's good content that some of them need to see.
So he'll have it in
Yes, it's already reserved.
and register him or?
No registration, I'll take care of it,
Okay.
and then I'll just get the billing info from you. But
Okay.
they're not ready for registration yet. We just about had I think we just finalized the schedule last meeting, so they gotta get it put together. Should have it out by the end of the month, I think is what the plan was.
Yep, just let me know.
It's a good time, it's a good event, lots of good information. The biggest thing is the networking, and being able to have people that you've met and talked to be able to call and ask questions on how are you doing this, or what are you doing here, or can we borrow this, can we borrow that? Yeah, well, it's a lot of good.
That always helps.
Good guys. Make sure you bring your pocketbook with you. They give away some good raffle guns. And they're doing an auction on one this year as well. So we always do the 3. The Mackers does a 3-gun raffle that raises money for funds to donate to a county road employee somewhere in the state that's fallen on hard times, usually for medical expenses or something. This year, both CAT and RDO are donating custom rifles to Mackers, and one of them will be raffled off in that same raffle, and the other one will be auctioned off. So
You gotta be present to win,
for the auction,
not for the
not for the
raffle.
raffle, no, I should have some tickets later this week.
Good.
Shane brought some back from Shane Escott from Madison County, the president. He brought some back last week for me. I gotta meet with him this week and pick them up.
Yeah, just let me know.
It's a good time. It's a lot of good fun.
Mhm.
Lots of good information. You never know what you're gonna pick up there. I mean, we've gone to courses where like, man, this is gonna be a snooze fest, and you walk out of there thinking that was the best one of the week. Yep. I think last year we had a gal, 2 years ago, had a gal there that was from the CIA. That formerly worked for the CIA and was talking about, technology and privacy and a bunch of stuff. And man, that was an eye opener.
Well. Yep,
Okay.
all right, thanks, sir.
Before you get out of here, we always talk about bus stop signs during our
Yeah.
transportation meeting. I don't know if we've done anything or if we're just kind of stalled out on that. I don't know if that's something we can look at why we're slow this season, and is it just the cost of them? I can't even remember if we figured out.
So the last time I brought this up to the transportation committee was who's gonna pay for all the signs, because it does say in policy that the schools are supposed to pay for them.
Mhm.
And we got the, oh, woe's me from them, that they can't afford signs.
Right.
They get a lot more money than we do.
Right.
I can't buy them. If we find one that's been knocked down or it's bad, destroyed, we replace it.
Okay.
As far as installing new signs at some of these bus stops that may or may not have them, we can't afford to go and do that. It's been something on my list, but hasn't been high enough priority to take all of their bus stop route maps with all the different stops and go map that and put each one on our map system so we know where we're at. We can maybe better sign things and see if some are, we took some down in Whitehall that were probably 40-year-old signs from old bus stops they haven't used since you guys were probably kids.
Mhm.
And so that's something that needs to happen. And unfortunately, it's something that I kind of need to do, not something I can have 5 different guys go work on.
True, yeah.
That's the hardest part with a lot of this mapping stuff, is if you get too many hands trying to do it, all the data gets put in differently, and that's when we run into issues like we have with our iWork system that does our software. So it's just something that I need to get refocused on and get done.
Yeah, because we kind of talk about it and get a plan during that transportation meeting, and it goes away every year. We come back to it every
I
year.
really want to get it done because I think it'll help us be proactive and more efficient on our plow routes as well. I think we do a really good job on them right now, but if there's a way we can not have to do a road twice or not go back up to the end of the road, you know, it would save us a lot of time and money. So it's something that I'll move closer to the top of my priority. Just need to find some more days and hours in the day.
Yeah. Just keeping your guys busy has gotta be a challenge.
It wasn't so easy to take the time and go home and get paid to not be here at the point down.
Yeah. There you go.
Nope.
Anything happening at the legislature you're looking at or watching? Or-
I haven't really looked. I need to go through and look. I
Is
don't know
your Mackers group kind of pay attention to that and bring anything down?
if we have a,
Lobbyist or?
no, there's a commissioner that's on the Mako board. And I think that they're the ones that kind of help be the point of contact with Mako. Kind of just let Mako handle things. It's something we've discussed.
Okay.
It's just
Should put us
finding,
on Mako then.
yeah. It really gets kind of hard finding a road guy that's able to understand and handle lobbying legislature.
or want to.
Yeah.
Or want to, that's the other hard part. Something that's been discussed, but we haven't really made any headway on it. I don't know if they're revisiting any of that marijuana tax money this year. I really hope they do, but
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that one.
even at that, our portion wasn't gonna be very big, not like everybody was thinking. I think they were talking about 250,000, which helps, but it does. I mean, it might put a scratch in what we need.
Does Dan have that on his radar to be looking out for?
He generally does look at road stuff, but maybe I can just shoot him a message and say, hey, when you just maybe send me a separate one or something highlighting anything from roads.
Yeah, they have like 4,000 bills or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4,300 and something or something.
How do you keep track of any of that?
It'll get trimmed down, I hope.
but it may be worth all of us reaching out to Marta again, and just kind of pushing her on the road funding issues. She was not, when I talked to her a year ago, she wasn't really aware of the difficulties we face with the road budgets.
Right.
You know, looking at ways to access different funding or elevate how much the road departments can get, you know, some sort of proactive change in the road department funding, but she said she was gonna look into it. I don't know if anything's come out of it, but or
Yeah.
what she can do, but at least it's a step.
They're highly focused on property tax revision right now, trying to figure out where they're gonna get money to offset some of the property taxes, and there's lots of great ideas out there, and there's some not so great ideas out there, and
Turn
I
around the
think-
colleges private and give us that money back.
yeah. Yeah, they're talking about taking maybe some of the bed tax and trying to reduce some of the property taxes with that, and trying to think what else there was, property tax wise, yeah, trying to do a tax shift and hit the people that have more than one house, or out-of-state
Yep.
people that have houses, and take more from them and less from. It
Summer
still doesn't
homes
fix our
and-
problem that we, you know, our budget reduces every year by the half the rate of inflation. That's not very,
Doesn't make a lot
stable,
of sense.
So. Need to figure that out, but maybe funding, right now I think they're trying to fix the funding part of it, then we can maybe fix the budgetary part of it.
Yeah.
Even at one of the things they were talking about, you know, you guys gotta decide what you wanna do, cause the counties and the schools, we're gonna have to start firing cops and firing teachers, cause our budgets are just tanking, so. I think they're starting to get some attention up there, what bad
Yep.
shape the counties are in. Counties and schools,
Yep.
kind of the perfect storm with property tax and all that. So we'll see, if anything comes up that you need us to watch, let us know, or let Dan know.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually try to skim over those emails he sends out just to be aware, but I haven't seen anything that's really caught my eye.
I've been
Yeah.
looking and I haven't seen much to do with roads at this point, but I haven't been through them all yet.
Nobody likes the roads.
Nobody
they
pays,
drive on 'em.
nobody pays
They
attention
wanna
to them until the
complain about
potholes
them.
in front of their driveway,
Exactly.
They want
and it's a big deal.
complain about them, they want more done, but they don't wanna see anybody working on them, they don't want the work to interfere with them, and they don't wanna pay
Yep.
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Thank you, Bear.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. All right.
Let's see what kind of problems I can find.